Planners should care about hotel renovations based on when they're bringing their program in. Now, I love when hotel salespeople come in and they go, hey, we're undergoing or we've just completed this quintillion-dollar renovation. You always hear these amazing numbers like, we've just done a $90 billion renovation to our facility. I always think that's hysterical. But why renovations are important to meeting planners, based on the timing of your program when it's actualizing and how close that renovation date is, either pre or post, could impact it. I will preface this with, we're not going to talk about renovation clauses in your contract. I'm going to give you some pragmatic approaches to how to deal with hotel renovations when that's communicated to you. There's 3 stages of renovation talks you should really think about. So there's pre-renovation. So when your salesperson comes to you and says, hey, guess what? We're going to be renovating over the course of the next, if you have a renovation that comes up during your program dates that could affect it, then yes, you need to think about how you work around them. But you should also look at renovation dates as an awesome opportunity for value. So if you're willing to be flexible on your calendar, schedule your program at the completion of a hotel's renovation dates. You're going to get the best pricing that hotel's going to have post-renovation, because the second the renovation's over, that pricing is going to increase. So if you're willing to have some flexibility on your scheduling, then schedule close to the completion of renovation. It depends on the scope of the renovation, and you need to ask some pretty good questions, or at least some detailed questions about that, and know your lingo. So if a salesperson's saying, hey, we're doing a soft goods renovation that's coming up, then you know that's really going to be anything from curtains, carpets, linens, something that's not as impactful to the overall experience of the property. If they're going through a case goods renovation, that's something that could impact the sleeping room product, the public areas, et cetera. And you should consider that if it affects the timing of when you're sourcing that program. Also think about the product that's being renovated and the whole scope of the renovation. So if it's a historic product or a historic resort and was built in the 1800s, for instance, any kind of renovation is going to have some engineering impacts. When we go into renovate a product and we start tearing down walls, that now you're looking at electrical issues or plumbing issues that may have not been rectified over the course of generations. That will typically elongate the scope of that particular renovation. This is a great opportunity for you to really get some value propositions or some value pricing if you have flexibility in your program dates. So to give you a great example, if you have a resort that's renovating this year and they say, okay, we're finishing renovations in December, right ahead of season or something, and you're sourcing for the first quarter of next year, and you can source in January and put the program in January, but you have some flexibility and movement on that, then the closest you can get to the completion of those renovation dates, the better your pricing's gonna be. Any hotel that's coming out of renovation has to ramp up their inventory. They have to get leisure guests through the front door. You've got to get new groups through the front door, et cetera. And in order to get that ramp up, typically the pricing is going to be the best it's ever going to be. And you have to think about that from a value proposition, because once that property is renovated and they've gotten through that ramp up, that pricing is going to increase pretty exponentially, because now they've got the best looking product in the destination, right? So you really have to think about that curve a little bit. So if you have some flexibility, you're willing to take a little bit of risk on that renovation date, it sometimes can really pay off. Now, hypothetically, you go ahead and you book your program in the first week of January, the week after you're supposed to have that renovation done at that resort, and the renovation is not complete, and they have to elongate that due to an engineering defect, whatever it happens to be. The first thing that hotel is going to want to do is move your date. They don't want to lose your business. And there's a very good chance that they're going to continue that same pricing methodology. They're not going to change your group rate because they've got to move your date because of their renovation schedule. So you may be able to continue that value into another set of dates in that first quarter. So that's something to consider. If you've got that flexibility in scheduling with your group, then I would actually look at that as an advantage. A good example of that would be when the hotel communicates with the planner that the product's going to go under renovation, and here's what it's going to look like coming out of the renovation and how it'll affect your group positively. That's something we always focus on. Renovation, typically when a meeting planner hears property's going under renovation, if they have a program booked there, immediately they freak out. Are we going to get moved? Are we going to have jackhammers in the lobby while we're in a general session? You have these visions going through your head of like all these disasters that are going to happen during your program. And really, you should really tune into, hey, what's going to positively affect our program coming out of renovation? And if it happens to be over these dates, and there is going to be stuff going on the property, what does that really look like? And then what we can really commit to as an experience for our group? And that takes a lot of dialogue and a lot of collaboration with the operations team to say, hey, we do have some stuff that's going to be going on property. We may be doing one of our pools or whatever it happens to be. One of the amenities are going to be down. Here's what we're going to do to make sure we preserve your group experience. Any really great resort team, that's what they're going to be working on. Their job as the operator of the hotel is to understand construction's going to go on. They can't affect that, but what they can affect is your experience as a group. And they pride themselves in doing that. That's what they want to be doing for you. So I guarantee any operations director or manager, they're already talking to you going, hey, here's what we want to do to make your experience exceptional, regardless of what may be going on property. From a personal example, I'm not going to name the hotel, but I will tell you, I had a group that I booked at a resort destination down island, and it was pretty contingent on the fact that we needed a full service restaurant to be able to operate this group. And we were late on the delivery of the restaurant. We did not have it open on time. We had some weather issues. And lo and behold, we were going to have this group show up without the F&B component that they had contracted. So you can imagine the initial reaction of the meeting planner as you find out you have a group that you're taking offshore and you have not a contracted F&B outlet for them during their stay. We communicated that up front, and as we were communicating that, we already had a contingency plan in place, ready to go with the meeting planner saying, hey, here's what we're going to be able to do to accommodate your group. From a banquet standpoint, we brought in themes, decor, and entertainment, and we really took it over the top from an experience standpoint. And the meeting planner actually came back after the program and said, I'm so glad that we didn't have the restaurant because the experience was just so much better not doing it in the restaurant. So it actually worked to our benefit, worked to their benefit, and everybody was happy. But it's that upfront communication. Any operations team that really wants to partner with you, they're going to be upfront right at the beginning. And they're already going to have a plan that they want to run by you to say, here's how we want to rectify it and work with you so that you preserve that experience.